Good evening and welcome to Emerson Institute here at City of Light. I'm Reverend Dr. Paul Gratz, and it's a delight to welcome you to tonight's class. We're coming to you live from the Dr. Angelo Pizzella Wisdom Center here on our campus at City of Light at 3125 Presidential Parkway in Atlanta, Georgia. Well, tonight is the class on the Infinite Way. We're beginning a brand new book study, a brand new class. This is the book by author Joel S. Goldsmith. It's a powerful teaching, and it's very fundamental or foundational to our spiritual journey. So I'm so glad that you're with us tonight. We're going to go through some real powerful foundations. And I encourage you, if you have friends who are questioning or wondering all about the New Thought journey, I'd love for them to join in this class, which is a wonderful class to help people find a beginner's understanding. And no matter where you are on your journey, if you're feeling you're more advanced in your studies, it's so great to review some of the wonderful fundamentals that really bring forth the spiritual truth in our life. So let's begin tonight's class session, and I'm going to ask you to join, as we always do, in a breathing exercise. We're going to take some deep breaths. Breathe in through our nose, hold that breath for a short time, and then release through our mouth. When we release, let's just let go of all the stress and tension of the day. Now, you may have had all kinds of interruptions in your day, all kinds of distractions of thought, energy of negativity around you, or a sense of loss, or whatever it may be. We want to release all that and let this breath be a cleansing breath. We are going to breathe in a fresh awareness of the divine and breathe out all that is a distraction or withholds us from our highest and best. So let's do this together. Let's take some deep breaths. Breathe in and release. Deep breath in and release. Deep breath in and release. Now, in this moment of silence, set your intention. Express the desire of what you'd like to receive during this time that we share together. What would you like to have transpire in your life? Whatever it is, let's begin to name it. Set that intention. I am claiming this. This is what I'm going to experience. Amen. And so it is. As we've claimed that, we know that the universe is eager to match that intention, to provide for us that which is the very desires of our heart. So it's really a powerful exercise as we begin any study to set the intention, the focus. What is it I really want to receive as we engage in this study together? Well, class number 1 is on the Infinite Way, and this is a 2-credit class. It is, if you're taking this for our degree program, whether you're studying for a bachelor's, a master's, or a doctorate of divinity, this is a great class and is really essential for our study and just for any of the degree pathways. So we're really looking forward to you joining with us. If you'd like to take this for credit, please reach out to me at revtpaul@aol.com. And let me know of your interest. We'd love to have you enrolled in our master's program, our bachelor's program, our divinity program, whatever it may be in spiritual studies. We'd love to have you as one of our students. Now, if you're auditing this class, and if you're taking it for credit, we offer a note packet. So make sure that you are reaching out to me, letting me know of your interest, that you receive the cliff notes from each chapter. They're sent to you prior to every class session. So again, reach out to me at my email address, revtpaul@aol.com. And I'll see that our registrar, Dr. David Carter, sends out the notes to you prior to each class. And as we begin, I really encourage you to check in your attendance at every class. So please, if you've popped in and you began to view, click on a like on the button if you're joining us through Facebook, or offer some comment. I'm here, great to be in this class, whatever it may be, letting us know that you're checking in with us for our study. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. We'd love to know who our students are and how we can reach out to you and help you on your journey. These classes are here for your spiritual enrichment. Our passion at City of Light is that you might grow in such powerful ways that you achieve your highest and best in the journey of living in this wonderful life that the divine has provided for us, this ongoing life, this abundant life. So let's dig in as we begin with class number 1. If you have your notes, grab your pen and follow along, circle any comments, because at the end of the class, I'm going to ask you what your takeaway is. Love to hear from you as to what has spoken to you primarily about this study. There is a way whereby we are able to rid ourselves of sin, sickness, poverty, and the results of war and economic changes. This way is the exchanging of our material sense of existence for the understanding and the consciousness of the life as spiritual. This is called the infinite way, a way that is filled with such infinite possibilities. Infinite, I love that word. It is unlimited. It is stretching way, way, way beyond our very consciousness. There's so much to be offered to us in our spiritual life. In this physical and material world, it's full of all kinds of limitations. We're limited by that which we touch and taste and hear, and that which we feel, all these kind of things of the five senses. Those are the limitations that we face in our world. But now in the spiritual realm, we'll go beyond the five senses. We go into the new dimensions of faith that is all about that which sees the unseen. And this is the infinite way that we're talking about, living the life of a spiritual way, for we are spiritual beings living a physical experience in this world. We're not physical beings trying to have a spiritual experience. We are spiritual. We're spiritual beings. We are souls that have come to this world. And we are in this moment, in this time, in this now, for the evolution of that soul, to experience the understanding of an infinite way. Now, early Christians who were followers of Jesus' teaching, those early believers were not called Christians. That term came later on. They were termed as people of the way of teaching, this infinite way, the way that Jesus taught to live. Jesus taught this as a spiritual truth for our lives. It could be acted out whether you are a Jew or a Gentile, whether you're male or female. There were no limitations whatsoever. Whether you are of this faith or that faith, you can take this spiritual teaching and apply it to your life in whatever context it may be. It was a way of living, an outlook, a way of thinking. And it was full of infinite possibilities, and it is today. So our study is all about this infinite possibilities within our life. This infinite way is all about taking control of your life, or if you don't, your life will control you. And so often we are just going along, drifting along with whatever life offers us, rather than taking control and saying, this is the kind of life that I so desire. No matter what your direction in life, no matter where it is, you can make a change. And you can, by taking control and expressing your choice, your desire, you can change the direction of your life at any moment in time. So remember, it's a choice, and that choice is all about taking control. So how does one attain this spiritual consciousness that we're talking about, whereby we kind of lose the material sense and we're just more open to this spiritual consciousness, this spiritual awareness, this spiritual life that we live? Well, the answer is we do this by studying the truths that have been revealed down through the ages, that are telling us more and more about universal consciousness, about the soul, about the spirit, and about spiritual creation and all of the spiritual laws. We need to read, we need to study, we need to be in classes like we are tonight. In this moment, we are moving along this wonderful road, a pathway to a higher awareness, a greater understanding of spiritual consciousness. So I'm glad you're part of this class, because this is part of our spiritual evolution. Now, what we want to understand is that we're putting on immortality. That's right, you always have been, you are, and always will be. You are part of the divine. You are created in the image and likeness of the divine, of that which is we call God. Scripture has taught us down through the ages and affirmed down through so many spiritual journeys that the divine is within us. This was the very teaching. And that divinity within us is immortal. It always has been, it is now, and always will be. You are living the eternal life, a life that is going on and on. Now, it may be within this context of this lifetime that you're learning and you're discovering more and more, and there may be more opportunities beyond this lifetime for you to engage in growing and understanding the beauty of this immortality. John chapter 1, verse 1 in the New Testament offers us this. The beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and the Word was made flesh. The Word, that spoken word, that consciousness, that thought. In the beginning was this consciousness. In the beginning was this awareness. In the beginning was this thought expressed. And this word, this thought, this consciousness was in God, with God, all of God. And the Word was God. So this consciousness, this thought, this awareness was from the very beginning of eternity, if there ever could be a beginning. And this Word was made flesh. This is the very creative power that is spoken of in the book of Genesis chapter 1, in the creation story, which is illustrating for us, and God said, "Let there be light." The word spoken, the consciousness, the thought spoken, and it was made flesh, or was manifested in the material world. So the word, by made flesh, does not change its nature, character, or substance. That which divine expression that you've made when it's made flesh, when it's brought into the physical world, when it comes into the realm of our reality, it doesn't change its nature, its character, or its substance. It's still a divine expression. It's still that creative power spoken through us, spoken through the God within us, the essence, the life force that is divine, that is within us, that is us. So let's just talk a little bit more, break this down so we understand the word. The word is really describing cause. Cause brings about an effect. We know that for every effect, there's a cause. So cause becomes visible as an effect, but the essence or substance is still word or spirit or consciousness. So everything that's ever been created, the essence, the substance of that is this word, is this spirit, is God. So there is not a spiritual universe and a material world, but rather that which appears in our world is the Word made flesh, the thought made flesh, the consciousness bringing about effect, the spoken word, the expression of the divine, the creative word spoken has now brought about and manifested something in our material world. And it is of divine essence. It is of divine substance. Consciousness is expressed as an idea. It is this wonderful thought that comes to us. We're conscious, we're aware of something, and so we're expressing this idea. We are expressing it as word, in spoken word, giving life to the idea as we speak it. All of our error in this world has been based on a belief in two worlds, that there's a physical world, a material world. There's the kingdom of this world, or the mortal existence, and the spiritual kingdom, or the kingdom of heaven. So we're focusing everything on these two worlds and this sense of duality within our lives. But what we want to do is understand that everything is of the divine. Everything within the material is of the divine. God created, God spoke, and that consciousness, that divine cause, that divine awareness brought forth a manifestation in the physical world of divine substance. And everything is of God. The trees around you are of God. The birds are of God. You are of God. Everything in this world is of God. So we want to break this consciousness of a material world and a separation to a spiritual world, but understand everything is divine. Everything is of God. Now, the work of bringing about health and harmony into our existence is not then getting rid of something or even changing a mortal material universe, but correcting the finite concept, the thinking of our existence. So the work that we do is in healing. It's not like, oh, I need to get rid of this disease. I need to get rid of this illness. I want to bring harmony. I need to get something. It's not about getting rid of or replacing. It's about correcting our thinking. That's right. When we are in righteousness, in right thinking, all things begin to fall together in harmony, begin to fall together in a sense of unity with one another. So our work is a work of mental treatment. Our prayer is treating our thoughts that are filled with doubt and fear and lack and separation. We're going to treat those. We're releasing all of those thoughts. It is about changing our thinking. It's not about getting rid of something, but changing our thoughts. Dr. David Carter has a comment.
So if a person has, let's say, a disease called diabetes, you don't focus on the diabetes, you change your thinking to perfect health.
Right.
And by thinking perfect health.
Because we are, our thinking is, I am this material world, and you are not this material world. You are this incredible spiritual being. So when we think from the spiritual realm, and our thoughts are from that spiritual realm is the realm of all good and perfection. So let's move our thinking away from I am diabetic to now thinking and knowing I am whole and complete. I see myself as perfection. You see, here's our spiritual work that we're called to do in this world, is to recognize the I am. The I am within us. The I am is the divinity, the God within us. So rather than recognize ourselves as I am diabetic, I am sick, I have an illness, I have cancer, I am this, I am that, our thinking shifts to the true I am, God within us, and that God within us is perfect, whole, and complete. When we begin to embrace that and speak this consciousness, what happens is this kind of thinking is vibrating at a higher level that transforms the very cells within our body. Our very essence, our very being is transformed. It's changed by our biography, impacts our biology. So the story we're telling ourselves, I'm diabetic, I'm diabetic, I'm diabetic. We change the story as I am whole, I am perfect. And as we do that, we're changing our story is changing, our biography is changing. What happens is now we're speaking in a way that is allowing the healing to rise within our body by removing any kind of thoughts that are not seeing and embracing the I am, the God within us, the divinity within us. Now, we struggle with this. Wait a minute. I am whole? I don't feel that way in my human physical being. I am perfect? Well, I can't say that I'm perfect. But the I am is the God within you. Here's our problem in our world. We so often think of God and we address God in a third person, saying, there is a God out there. Or we talk about God in a second person. You, oh God, are wonderful. But we're called to see God in the first person. I am the divine. I am God. I am this wonderful expression of the divinity of God. I am this. Our work is to get rid of that third person speak that we so often do in our religions. We need to get rid of this second person consciousness or thought that there's something outside of us that we're addressing in any way, instead of and begin to understand that I am is who I am. The I am is the God within me. The divinity, the very soul, the essence of me is the spark of God. Every wave in the ocean, as it comes to the beach, to the shores, it has this wonderful sound of saying, whoosh, I am the ocean. Each wave unique, but each wave having the ocean within it, all that is of the ocean. So every wave is saying, I am the ocean. I am the ocean. The next wave says, I am the ocean. Each wave is speaking that. And we're called to do the same. I am the divine. I am God in this moment. Now, you're not God in totality, but you are the revelation. You are made and created, designed in the very likeness and image of God. That's within you. That's who you are. The God presence is within you. So we need to change our language to I am, recognizing God within. Our religions have taken us on a pathway of pulling God out of us and setting God aside. So we say, oh God, you are holy. You are wonderful. We worship you, this outside thing. We've also taken our language to say, speaking of, there is a God out there, in a third person style language, referring and speaking about God, in a third person in our language and expression. Let's remove those and come back to the very teaching of Jesus, the infinite way. The infinite way that Jesus spoke of speaks of the power of the I am and the perfection that's found there. I am whole. I am divine. I am, and I really encourage you to do a little I am exercise every day. I think it might be a real spiritual tool that we all need to embrace. That we become comfortable with the I am. That it's not a foreign thought for us or a strange thing, but we begin to say, I am God in this moment. I am Jesus being revealed. I am the light of the world. I am the revelation of God. I am whole. I am abundant. I am wise. I am prosperous. I am success, because those are the things that God is. God is not sick. God is not poor. God is not lack. God is not fear. So why would we speak those if we are acknowledging the God within us is who we are? We are this divine expression. All right, we'll go to Steve and then comment from Dr. David Carter again. Steve.
So if you say, for instance, I am poor, you're effectively, I guess, committing blasphemy by saying, God is poor.
You're taking the name of God in vain. And that's one of the 10 commandments. We think, oh, wait. Taking the name of God in vain is saying, oh, Jesus Christ, or saying, oh, God, or oh, my God is, no, that's not at all. That's not, in fact, for God is not the name of God. God is what God is. It's not God's name. But the name is the character. So that's really when we find in the spiritual teaching, when it refers to the name, it's not G-O-D or J-E-S-U-S that is the name. They're referring to the name being the very character. So when you take the character of God in vain, it's by saying, I'm stupid. I am poor. I am without. I am sick. So we want to express this consciousness of the divinity within. Remember, everything Jesus talked about was a God within us. He never spoke about a God out there. He never spoke or taught in any way of the kingdom of heaven being something, a place you go to when you die only, but he spoke about the kingdom of heaven being here and now in this moment, right here, and the kingdom within. So God is within. God is within because within us is this very life force, this divinity within us, within whom we breathe and move and have our being. The writer is talking about from the New Testament passages. In God, in this power, in this life force, we breathe, we move, we have our very essence, we have our being. So this God that we call in the third person out there, or this God in the second person that we're talking to, you, oh God, as if you're distant and removed, is really the I am that you are. That's the very revelation. For us to grasp this is the journey of the evolution of our soul. So I encourage you to start every day with, I am abundant, I am blessed, I am whole. And begin to profess that over and over again as you begin to glorify the very divinity within you. Yes, Steve.
So when we pray, we don't pray as a separate being from God.
Right. So that's why we pray in the affirmative. This we know to be our truth. We speak a truth that we know within. So we're not saying, dear God out there in space, dear God who's out there. In case you're not listening, I'm going to plead and beg and beat my chest. Dear God in the world out there, you, oh God, I hope will hear me. That's second person language, okay? So we don't want to speak in that way. We say, I am the divine, and the God that I am knows and understands. So I speak now this word that is now going to be manifested in flesh. I speak this word of healing. I speak this creative word that is at work in my world. I speak this word that is now healing and releasing any kind of thought that is contrary to the divine essence within me. Steve.
So, because when we think of the word God, when we hear the word God, we always think of the totality of God.
Right.
But what you're talking about is like the drops of the ocean.
Yes.
That's what we're dealing with right now.
Right.
When we're talking about divinity and I am, we're talking about our own personal drop, our drop of the ocean,
right,
of the great totality. But we're not saying we are the totality.
Right, correct. We are not the totality. We are like a diamond. God is this wonderful diamond with many facets. You're a facet. I'm a facet. This is a facet. God is this wonderful, I'm going to use this example for every homemaker out there, this 9x13 cake, okay? Let's just say that that's God. And every piece that you cut out of that 9x13 cake is a piece of cake, right? And every ingredient, the eggs, the flour, the milk, the sugar, the whatever you put in, the cocoa, the vanilla, whatever it is that's the ingredient of that cake is found within each piece. Now, it's not the totality of the cake, but it's a piece of cake. So we are an individual expression, a unique one of the divine. That essence of God is in us, and that's who we are. We are the divine being expressed here and now in this world, in this moment. Does that make sense? David, did you have a question? Dr. David Carter.
Yes. Okay. So if you're saying things like you're poor, whatever, you're saying that that's true about God because you are part of God.
Right.
Okay. Some of the New Thought writings even go so far as to say God does not get sick, God is not poor, God does not get tired, God is not exhausted. And I'm thinking, okay, but sometimes when I work outside and I finish working, I'm tired.
Right.
So, okay, so the God in me may not be tired, but the physical me really is tired. So is that a conflict or, I mean, I get it that spirit is whole and perfect and complete and it is not no sickness, exhaustion, blah, blah, blah. But the physical body does experience.
So let's speak to the physical body and let's correct its thinking. So in other words, the physical body may say, oh, I'm so exhausted, I can't do any more. Okay. Yet we found within moments where someone in the middle of a crisis and an accident comes to the scene of the accident and says, there's someone trapped underneath the car. And we've seen this story over and over again. Someone lifts the car up. There's an energy within. There is a power within that seems to be like a superpower manifested. Where does that come from? It comes from a thought or a consciousness that says, This has got to be done. I'm going to do it. And there's not like, gee, can I do it? I don't know if I can. That person just does it. So it's this shift in our thinking that yes, our physical body may be worn out, but as we shift our thinking to this, there's a renewing within us of capabilities, of abilities to do above and beyond, which we may thought in our world of limitation we could not do.
Okay, so you work on a farm. You got up at 4 o'clock. You till the soil all day long, and let's say at 5 p.m. you're run out. You're saying you need to shift your thinking so that you're not run out. It's a matter of mind, and you really not run out. I mean, because the extraordinary makes sense, but the everyday.
Yes.
Really.
I think that's very true because it applies for us in our everyday thinking. Now, I do believe we take care of this body. We offer it, it's 8 hours of sleep. We do the best we can with the body. But I'm going to tell you this. We know of numerous stories of people who have existed for 40 days without any food. Mind over matter, people say. It's a conscious shift. And they've existed at great lengths without some of the basic things. So we know that consciousness or right thinking or thinking of perfection enables us to overcome a lot of things, even on the day-to-day basis, where you may have worked out in your yard all day and your body's exhausted. But if you need to do more or need to go, you don't own that exhaustion. You rest in this perfect peace of knowing that the body is there. You care for the body in its physical realms, of course, but we can have a consciousness that goes beyond the limitations of this physical body. Yes.
Okay, so you're saying that if we own the tiredness, it's like owning a disease.
Yes. And so often what we do is, I'm tired. Yesterday I was at the gym. I was very distracted at the gym. So my mind wasn't in the right place. So I'm lifting weights and I'm not really putting my focus in and I'm not doing what I could normally do. Kind of just less than because of the distraction. And so I believed and convinced myself, I'm tired. I quit. Now, why did I quit early? Why did I leave and not completing my full required routine for building muscle and the workout plan that I've chosen? Because my mind told me, and it bought into the distractions. It was allowing that distraction to say, you can't, you're tired, just give up, quit and go home, just do it. And I did. I bought into those. When I got in the car, I thought, why did I do that? Why did I buy into that? You see, we're so accustomed to buying into the thoughts that you cannot and it's not able to, rather than, wait a minute, let me be energized in this moment and believe in the I am that pushes through, that takes me to another level, that takes me to the abilities to do something amazing. How about in today's Olympics, we heard the sad news of Simone Bell stepping down from the Olympic team, and consequently, the American team only placed the silver. Simone Bell said, I'm not in the right headspace, the right consciousness, the right thought. She felt like there was a lot of distraction in her world and where she was not in the right place to perform at her highest and best. Now, we've seen Simone Bell do some amazing things, but something gets in your head and you're distracted, whether it's overconfidence, whether it's something, fear or pressure that says you must perform, rather than operating in a natural way that she does so well with great ease. Whatever it was, brought about some injuries, brought about some things I can't perform. She was performing well below her high level of excellence. This is so true for each and every one of us. So often we can buy into the distractions of this world, the negativity, the doubt, we're not in the right headspace. We're like Simone. We're just not right in the right headspace. And I was at the gym. I wasn't in the right headspace. So I could really relate to her. I was like, you know what? I walked away from really performing my highest and best. I know I could have done better. I know it because I track it in a book. And I know how much weight I've lifted in a particular movement. I'm like, why am I underperforming? Because I'm not in the right headspace. I'm not, aligning myself with my highest and best. And this is where we need to go back and to do the spiritual work within our lives every day. I want to align myself with the I am. I am healthy. I am whole. I am love. I am prosperity. I am success. I am building and expressing loving relationships, all these wonderful things that you can go through. Just begin to affirm and walk from that place of believing. Okay? So I really want to encourage us that, the change we so desire in our world is a beginning of a change in thinking. Change your thoughts, you'll change your world. We say that phrase. Do you know the depth of that teaching? Wow, it's really deep. It's not just a cliched phrase. When I change my thinking from a God out there to the divinity within me, and that infinite power is already within me, and that same power was the power within Jesus who healed the blind man, or who healed and manifested miraculous miracles feeding the 5,000. If that same power is in me, then let me proclaim it. Let me own it. Let me acknowledge it. Let me live it, that this divinity is within me and I am healed. I am whole. I am well. And let us experience this level of divine expression, moving to its fullest level within our lives. So let's move on to Dr. Paul's food for thought in your note packet. Massive change in this world will come about through our spiritual work. Limited and even temporal change comes through our social activism. But when we have worked for civil rights and changes in laws, yet we still have beliefs that are oppressive in our society, it only happens when we change the world through our spiritual awareness that true change happens. And what I'm saying here is this, food for thought. True change happens. And it only happens through our spiritual awakening, our spiritual awareness. Let us not labor in the world of hardship and difficulty and challenge, but labor in the world of effortlessness and great ease in spiritual awareness. Let's begin to say, I am whole, I am peace, I am well, I am love, I am all these wonderful things. This is the spiritual work we do, and when we begin that change within us, that change radiates out to bring change in the world around us. So true change happens when there is some awakening or change of thought. Let's change our thinking today. We must realize that mortals put on immortality only as mortality disappears. We move into the realm of infinite possibilities only as the finite disappears. Stop focusing on the limitation and the unlimited will be yours. That's what this is saying to us. That when we begin to experience this wonderful understanding that we are immortal, we are this soul that always has been, is, and always will be, we understand that this is an ongoing evolution. So whatever you're going through right now is so small and minute in the light of eternity. You had a bad day today. Maybe your hair didn't turn out. Maybe you had a flat tire. Whatever it was that you thought was so disastrous, in the light of eternity, it's not even a blip. It's so small. So we need to move away from the thinking of all these finite lack, hurt, wounds of each and every moment and realize I'm living in this eternal life, ongoing. And whatever I experience today is just a blimp. It's just a small little thing maybe not even measurable in the light of eternity. That there's so much more yet to come. So as I change my thinking, I'm able to change my world, and I'm able to evolve higher and higher and higher and higher as I begin to change the thinking from this limited, finite thought to now putting on this immortality of all things are possible. And what happens is I'm living now in the infinite, the finite begins to disappear. We do not add immortal spiritual harmony to human conditions. It's not about adding by pleading with God to perform our wishes. It's not about adding anything. Everything you need is already there. It's already present. We need to shift our thinking to acknowledge it, that it's already here. It's already available for us. It's just awaiting us, awaiting our change in thinking. Remember, God does not create human affairs or activities, nor does God create material affairs. God does not help you win a sporting event or Miss USA or gambling or keep you from winning as any kind of punishment. You know, crazy thoughts in particular. My daughter competed in pageants to be Miss USA, and her mother would say to her, well, honey, you didn't win because Jesus doesn't want you to win, okay? As if Jesus were in control of everything within our life. Let me tell you this, God doesn't show any favoritism, so God's not involved in who wins Miss America or Miss USA, or who wins at the Olympics, or who wins in any gambling experience and who loses. That's not what it's about. That's not how God is evolving within us. So let's remove all this kind of thinking that, well, if I beg God or plead with God, the outside God will do this. Let's change our thinking to acknowledge, wait a minute, I am abundant. I am these things. I am blessed. I am all this. So it doesn't matter whatever is going on in your world, you know you are, and whatever the outcome is going to be based on your thinking. So your health is going to be based on your thinking. As we begin to embrace fear and thoughts, and our biography is a story of sickness, we begin to speak to every cell in the body. It's okay to be sick. It's okay to be sick. But how about we speak to the consciousness and the intelligence with every cell in the body, and we speak, I am whole. I am well. Speak that truth. Let that word, that vibrational frequency that's coming forth as cause, have an effect. So let's create a cause that brings about an effect, right? How do we do that? Let's speak the affirmative. Let's speak the positive. Let's speak the desires of our heart. I am whole. I am well. I am prosperous. I am abundant. These are the desires of our heart. Stop speaking, I'm poor, I can't, I'm stupid, I'm not able, and I'm sick. Okay, Steve, your comment.
Why speak and not just think?
I think there's a power that's expressed when we give voice to something. You know, there's a lot of thoughts going through our head, and thank God we don't voice every one of them. Because I know over the period of today, you've had 60,000 some thoughts fleeting through your head. Thank God you don't give voice to every one of them. There's an inside voice and an outside voice. Some things just should not be said. There are thoughts that come through and they're entertained. You don't entertain them. You let them fly through your head. You don't give voice. But your belief that you really own, that you desire and you want, those thoughts, express them. Because that expression gives voice out, and a creative voice that I believe is going off as a frequency or vibration that comes back and cycles back, and you hear, and it reaffirms that which you're saying and you're speaking. It's reaffirming. That's why some people like to read out loud or read to themselves, because as they read, they speak and they hear. They see, they think, they speak, they hear. They love this affirmation. And it's really great to kind of speak to yourself that you are, and I advocate, talk to yourself. That's right. Spend some time talking to yourself in the morning. Get up and say, hey, Paul, today you are going to do the X, Y, and Z. You know, begin to speak to yourself and speak in that affirmative, I am doing X, Y, and Z. And the X, Y, and Z I express is what I am. And I begin to give voice. Not just think it, but thoughts become even more intensified as we own them and speak them. David Carter, your comment.
Oh, I was just going to say, so if you speak the words, I am whole, perfect, and complete, the word that you utter goes out and comes back
Right.
to you.
Beautiful. Yes. We're casting our bread upon the water and it comes back to us, the scripture says. So that casting that bread is symbolic, the bread of understanding, the bread of knowledge and truth that nurtures us. That's really what that bread means. It's that what's nurturing your soul. It's not, rye bread, wheat bread, white bread, Wonder Bread. That's not what it's talking about. It's about a symbol or a metaphor of that which nurtures you. Truth. Bread is truth. Bread is understanding. Bread is awareness. Cast your truth out upon the waters, it says, and it'll come right back to you. Those waters being the waters of thought, okay? Consciousness. So cast your word out. Speak your word out onto the waters of thought, of consciousness. And it's going to come right back to you. And that's the beautiful thing that as we pray, we say, I speak this now, and I release this to the universe to manifest. In our prayer treatment, what we're doing is speaking that which we desire. We speak it out loud. We cast it out upon the waters as our truth of what we know, our understanding, and we will know that the universe is bringing it back to us in manifested form. Yes.
So when you think it, that's the thought part. That's the intellect. And
Yes.
when you speak it is the emotion and the feeling.
Oh, yes,
That
definitely.
together produces the
Right. So we have this wonderful thought as we brought out in many classes, and is the intellect, the knowing. But let's put some passion, some feeling behind it. I am whole. Let's say it with some feeling. You know it and you feel it. So I want you to begin to feel your wholeness. Not feeling your sickness, not feeling something removing your sickness, but simply feeling your wholeness that's already there and allowing it to be present and to radiate, manifest, and to ignite. You're creating this effect, this cause that's bringing about an amazing effect within your body. So speak your word of faith. Speak it and allow it to manifest within you. Now, are we seeking the things of God for some human purpose? Or are we really endeavoring to put off the mortal in order that we may experience, see, behold, the very harmony of the spiritual realm? Are we seeking God for some human purpose? Or are we really that we want to experience the spiritual? So sometimes we're like, okay, I want a great cause to bring about some material effect because I'm just in the material. How about we are manifesting whatever we're doing is in the spiritual, and in the spiritual, meaning the unfolding of our highest and best, we allow the physical or the material to then be a byproduct of that wonderful life, rather than first and foremost, it's a byproduct of that which we are creating, because we're living in this spiritual realm of goodness, of God. All is good, and whatever that all goodness is, God brings to us. So we just can, all is good, all is good, all is good. You don't have to say, it only would be good if I had a new Toyota, or it'd only be good if I had a new Lexus, or it'd only be good if I had a new 5-bedroom home. No, all is good. And in that consciousness of all is good, the material essence will manifest to affirm the all is good within you in whatever way is appropriate for you. So it's only as we transcend the desire to improve our humanhood, our human world. The example is to get rich with thoughts of lack or greed and hoarding. It's only as we transcend that. It's then that we understand that in the spiritual world, we become an overcomer. We live in blessing, generosity, and abundance. So we're not here in this realm where that the whole teaching is about how can I get rich, and how can I hoard what I have, and how can I hold on to it? How, in the spirit of greed, I claim all these things. No. It's when we understand that the spiritual world is already providing everything for us, And we need not hoard. We need not be in greed. We need not think of any kind of lack or withholding. We just know that abundance is coming like divine flow. It's flowing in, flowing out, and more is flowing in and flowing out, and more is flowing in and more is flowing out. We have not overcome the world while we are seeking to have less of the world's pains and more of the world's pleasures and profits. Spiritual consciousness overcomes the world, both the pains and pleasures of the world. You know, we're not here to worry about the number of storms we go through in our life. But we're here to understand that in any and every storm, there's perfect peace to be experienced. Does that make sense? That we worry so much about, I don't want to have any trials, I don't want any challenges in my life, I don't want any of these things, I want my life to just be perfectly smooth. Trust me, we grow through challenges. Challenges are opportunities for us to manifest and show the divine. So we really are an overcomer when we first understand that no matter what comes our way, I'm at perfect peace because I know who I am. I am divine. I am God. I am the expression of divinity right here and now. So we want to encourage you to love not the world, neither the things that are of the world. But know that as material blessings come your way, enjoy them, not with a love that hoards or has a fear of losing them or whatever, but they're to be enjoyed and shared and experienced with one another. Dr. Paul's food for thought in this box in your notepad says this: love not the world, neither things that are of the world. Does this mean that we're not to have material things? Can we have things and not love them? What would it mean? It really means don't be attached to anything. You know, enjoy it, but don't be attached to it. And if you need to share it with someone, share it. If we all have this consciousness of that we're in this together, and we're here to share, and we're here to meet each other's needs, there's plenty to go around. There is plenty. This whole planet was designed with the ability to have enough for everyone. It's just those who hoard and in greed have hindered that natural state of harmony, that natural state of abundance that's here within the planet. So when we keep our attention on spiritual things, then we can taste the full joys of home, companionship, and successful work. Scripture says, labor not for the meat which perishes, but for that meat which endures into everlasting life. So labor, work, endeavor, put energy into the very spiritual aspects of your life, not struggling for all these physical things. Because in the spiritual, the blessings and the physical will manifest. But if our focus is only on the physical, the spiritual will never be able to manifest. But in the spiritual, the physical will manifest. The Apostle Paul's words were, set your affection on things above. This is, set your thoughts and your affection, your love, on a higher consciousness of awareness. And in that state, all things work together for good. Blessings are yours, and abundance will be there for you. Abundance for you to share, abundance for you to experience, for the universe is extremely generous and wanting to provide and bless and love us through each and every day of our lives. Well, this is the beginning of the infinite way, and I hope you've enjoyed our study so far, as we're really talking about what this infinite possibilities, unlimited way of living is. We want to live in this realm that sets us free and liberates us from the physical, and that we're in a spiritual consciousness of the I am. I am the divine. I am wise. I am intellect. I am all these wonderful things. Just begin to affirm them within your life. That is really the wonderful praise that we offer as we're acknowledging the goodness. So let's talk a little bit about what our takeaway is from tonight's session. For those of you who have joined us through our live streaming, we'd love to hear from you as to what spoke to you about tonight's teaching. We'd love to hear what truth, what nugget is resonating within your heart. And as we wait for your responses that you'll type up on Facebook, And Dr. David Carter will be watching for that and alert me. We'll have this wonderful dialogue as we conclude this class session. While we're waiting for that, let's hear from our class students that are with us tonight. Steve, can you tell us what's your takeaway from tonight's session?
To do a I am exercise every day. That's a good spiritual practice.
Yes. The I am exercise every day. Beautiful. Wonderful. Dr. David Carter, what's your takeaway from today's class?
Every day I need to exercise my divinity by realizing that I am and I can. So I should stop underperforming.
Beautiful. Excellent. Do we have any students who are commenting yet, or anyone following us? All right.
But we got students, so they may be still typing.
All right, we'll be waiting just a few moments, and while we do, we want to invite you that if you enjoyed the class, we appreciate your generous giving and support of Emerson Institute. You can go to our website at www.cityoflightatlanta.com and offer a donation. There's a donate button, simply click on it. Offer your gifts. We appreciate your support for the ongoing ministry of the Emerson Institute here at City of Light. And of course, we want to encourage you to join us in classes. We've got classes ongoing now for the next 8 weeks on the Infinite Way. And we've got class sessions on Thursdays at 10:30 on the book Alchemy by Paul Seelig. This is a great study on the spirit of transformation or transformation within our hearts and our lives. You'll enjoy both of these classes, I know, because they're designed for your spiritual enrichment. We're very passionate about this. Passionate about helping you to achieve your highest and best. That's why we offer these classes on a regular, ongoing basis for your spiritual enrichment and your spiritual growth. All right, do we have anybody responding yet? If not, well, we appreciate you being with us tonight. Thank you so much for joining us for this class session. We'll look forward to seeing you next week as we go into session number 2. We're going to move on to 2 and 3 together as fast as we can as we move through this incredible study as we make this 8-week journey a powerful journey for our lives. God bless you. I look forward to seeing you again next week. See you Tuesday, 7 p.m.